In this module, we covered various topics. Here are a few key takeaways for you as we set up the rest of this course. The Z-Attack proxy was built as a project of OWASP and is a free open source program used for assessing vulnerabilities in web applications. As you work your way through the user interface, you will find that everything you need is always one click away. You are not jumping from page to page, digging through menus, or performing 3 different tasks on 4 different pages. The user interface is simply laid out in 3 sections, and the majority of the actionable tasks are found by right-clicking. The menu system plays an important role in the ease of use. If you're trying to perform an action, right-click where you think it makes sense. It is very intuitive that way. But for Zap to work at all, you need to tell the traffic from the browser where to go. You do this through the proxy settings. Manually setting up the browser proxy settings every time you want to test is hardly a solution. We walk through Foxy Proxy for automating this, but feel free to poke around the extensions for your browser of choice. Once you have the browser side of the communication set up, you must open the local proxy options inside of Zap and set up the exact address and port used in Foxy Proxy in order to receive the communication. 2 important things to remember here. Setting up the proxy in a tool like Foxy Proxy is a one-time deal. After it is set up, you only need to turn it on and off when you are ready to test the application. Do not leave the proxy turned on. If you do, your browser will pass all traffic to Zap without regard. If you receive errors in the browser, turn the proxy off if you're not meaning to attack. Verify that Zap is turned on and that the settings of Zap match the browser. Finally, secure HTTPS pages will throw an error in the browser if you do not install the OWASP Digital Certificate. The OWASP Digital Certificate adds Zap to the trusted chain, telling the browser it is okay for you to jump in the middle of the communication between the browser and the server, effectively creating a man-in-the-middle scenario. It sounds a lot more dastardly than it really is, but keep in mind, there's a lot of legal ramifications for what you're doing here. Do not pen test an application you do not own, or have permission to test. Don't walk the line, don't play, don't go all vigilante and save the World Wide Web. Not going to dive any deeper here, just don't do it. It's pretty easy to keep your nose clean, and if you don't have a site you can test, download the OWASP BWA ISO, throw it into a VirtualBox, and you'll have access to a ton of free, open source, deliberately broken web applications for you to play around in. Well, we have finally finished walking through the setup of Zap. Let's start breaking down the functions in Zap to set up the environment for the attack.